Christmas is a favorite story, told again and again. We know it well, the simple stable, the shepherds in the fields, the star guiding wise men from far away, all coming to see a tiny new baby, wrapped in blankets, lying in a manger. This baby, Jesus, born in Bethlehem, is at the heart of Christmas, a story of hope, love, and God coming to be with us. But what happened after the star faded and the wise men went home? What happened to this special family after the angels stopped singing and the shepherds went back to their sheep? The Christmas story doesn't end in the stable. It's just the start of an amazing adventure. The journey of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the Holy Family, is full of adventure, danger, and important lessons about faith. We usually hear about the wise men visiting, but what happened after? The rest of the story shows us their courage, strength, and trust in God's plan. It's a story of escape, living far from home, and finally coming back, a journey that changed the world. Let's explore these forgotten parts of the Christmas story. We'll discover the amazing journey of an ordinary family chosen for something extraordinary. Their travels take us from the busy streets of Bethlehem to the deserts of Egypt, back to the quiet hills of Galilee, revealing hidden wonders in the Christmas story. While people were happy about the new king, King Herod was angry in his palace in Jerusalem. He heard about the birth of a new king, a king of the Jews. Herod was scared and jealous. He didn't see this baby as a savior, but as someone who wanted to take his power. Herod, a cruel king, made a scary plan. He called the wise men, the stargazers from the east, and tricked them into telling him where the baby was. He said, "Go and find the child. Tell me where he is so I can worship him too." But Herod was lying. He really wanted to hurt the baby, but God had a different plan. An angel visited Joseph in a dream and warned him about Herod. "Wake up," the angel said. "Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you to come back, because Herod wants to kill the child." Imagine how scared Joseph must have been, but he trusted God. Joseph, a simple carpenter, listened to God. He took his young wife and baby son, and in the dark of night they started a dangerous journey. Imagine this. A young couple, a new mum still tired from having a baby, a dad worried about keeping his family safe, running away from their home at night, a baby held tightly, their only treasure, more important than their own lives. This was the Holy Family's escape to Egypt. The journey was long and hard. They traveled on old roads, facing the hot desert sun and the cold desert nights. Food and water were hard to find, and finding a safe place to sleep was even harder. Every sound, every noise in the night could have been danger. But Joseph, trusting in God, kept going, his love for Mary and Jesus making him strong. Their escape showed their strong faith and bravery. Every step away from Bethlehem was a step away from everything they knew. But with every step, God was with them, keeping them safe and giving them what they needed in amazing ways. Egypt, a land of ancient stories and secrets, became the Holy Family's hiding place. They tried to stay hidden in this new country, living among the crowds in markets and quiet villages. Life in Egypt was hard. They didn't know the language or the customs. Herod might still find them, so they had to hide who they really were. Stories have been told about the Holy Family's time in Egypt. Some places, now visited by people on pilgrimages, are said to have sheltered them. Old churches and monasteries remind us of these stories, passed down through time, marking places where Jesus, Mary, and Joseph rested. One such place is Mukattam Mountain near Cairo. A story says a huge rock, now inside the monastery of St. Simon, magically lifted into the air to protect the Holy Family. These stories, even if we can't prove them, show us the hard times they faced and the miracles that protected them. Years went by. Jesus grew from a tiny baby into a little boy, his laughter filling their simple home, bringing joy in a strange land. Mary, his loving mother, taught him about God and their Jewish traditions. Joseph, his protector and provider, taught Jesus how to be a carpenter, his strong hands working with wood, building a future. Then one night the angel of the Lord came to Joseph in a dream again. "Wake up," the angel said. "Take the child and his mother and go back to Israel. The people who wanted to kill the child are dead." Herod was gone. It was time to go home. Leaving Egypt wasn't easy, but the thought of home, the land promised to their ancestors, was strong. With excitement and a little fear, they packed their few belongings, said goodbye to the land that protected them, and started another long journey, this time back home. Going back to Israel wasn't a big celebration. It was quiet because they still needed to be careful. When they arrived in Bethlehem, they learned that Herod's son, Archelaus, was now ruler, and he was cruel like his father. Scared for their safety, Joseph listened to another message from God, telling them to go north, away from Bethlehem. They traveled north to Galilee and settled in a small, quiet town in the hills called Nazareth. This simple town, far from the important cities, became their new home, where Jesus would grow up. Nazareth was a humble town of farmers, craftspeople, and ordinary people. Life was simple there. It was very different from King Herod's palace or the busy streets of Jerusalem. In the quiet town of Nazareth, Jesus, the future king, would grow up, his true identity hidden from the world. In Galilee, among the rolling hills, the boy Jesus grew up. Life in Nazareth was simple, following the seasons and Jewish traditions. His days were spent exploring the dusty streets, playing near the olive trees, and listening to stories told by older people. Mary taught her son to love God and understand their scriptures. She taught him prayers, stories of their ancestors, and the prophecies about a coming Messiah. Joseph, the carpenter, taught Jesus his trade. Jesus learned to work with wood, his hands getting stronger, his mind learning the skills. As Jesus grew older, he became wiser. He listened carefully to the teachings in the synagogue, asking questions that amazed the teachers. He was naturally wise, and people liked him, but to everyone else, he was just Jesus, the carpenter's son, a boy from Nazareth. No one knew how special he really was. Nazareth, a small, simple town, was important in Jesus' life. It was where God chose to start his plan to save the world. It shows us that God's plans sometimes happen in surprising ways, in ordinary places. Nazareth is like a hidden treasure. Just like Jesus' true identity was hidden in Nazareth, we often don't see the amazing things inside ourselves. Nazareth teaches us that great things can come from anywhere, and God can use anyone to do his work. The Christmas story doesn't end when the wise men leave or when the family goes to Nazareth. It's a story that continues, inspiring people for centuries. It's a story that goes beyond countries and religions, speaking to what everyone wants deep down: hope and love. We celebrate Christmas with trees, lights, songs, and presents, but the real meaning of Christmas is the amazing journey of an ordinary family chosen for something amazing. Their story reminds us that even when things are hard, even when we don't know what will happen, faith can show us the way, helping us through dark times and bringing us hope. The Holy Family's escape to Egypt, their time away from home, and their return to Nazareth teach us about strength, trust, and God's faithfulness. Their journey reminds us that God is with us even when we are unsure, guiding us, protecting us, and working in ways we don't always understand. The story of the Holy Family's journey isn't just an old story, it's a message of hope and strength for today. It reminds us that even when we're scared, faith can guide us, love can make us strong, and trusting God can take us to amazing places. As we think about the hidden parts of the Christmas story, let's remember the courage of Mary, the faithfulness of Joseph, and God's love that protected them. Let's keep the spirit of Christmas in our hearts, not just at Christmas time, but all year round, helping others, accepting the unexpected things that happen in our lives, and trusting that even when we can't see what's next, God is with us, leading us to a future full of hope.